Hello, this is a tutorial on how to utilize ClearCareGo app for caregivers. This will go over instructions on how to clock in, clock out, complete your tasks, and see your schedule for the week. First thing you must do is download the app for your Apple or smart device. This will be found in the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. Once it's downloaded, you'll see it as CCGo here in the cream and green colors. You may then click into the app by selecting it, and it will bring you to the main login page. On the main login page, you'll have to enter your email and a password associated with your account. Please talk to an administrator. They will give you access in order to log in and set you up with the password. You may also utilize facial recognition or fingerprint ID. We can log in now. Once logged in, it'll bring us to our main page, which will have the shifts for the week and our shifts for the day. As you can see, today is January 8th, and we have two shifts here. First shift, 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Our second shift, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Both of these shifts will have the times, start time and end time, the client name, and get directions, which will show you how to get to the client's home. By clicking on Get Directions, it will open up a map taking you to that client's house and showing you GPS coordinates to get there. When you arrive on your shift, you'll have to clock in using this system. As you can see, the start time for the first shift here is 1 p.m., so caregivers should try to be on time and clock in within that first 5 minutes. By clicking on that shift, it will bring you to the clock in page. This will list the tasks associated with this person: assist with dressing, assist with toileting, essential housekeeping, and prepare meals and assist with feeding. At the bottom of the page, you'll see clock in and a distance to client. Caregivers must be clocked in on the location and cannot be clocked in while they're not at the location of the home. Once you're there, you may click clock in orange. And you may have to answer some safety questions, such as if you are experiencing any fever or cough, please contact the office right away and wash your hands 30 seconds before arriving. Now we have been successfully clocked in. This screen you are now seeing are the tasks associated with the shift that need to be completed before leaving this client's home. At this point, the caregivers can set their phone down and engage with the client and come back and complete these towards the end of their shift. In order to go back to the main screen, on the top left corner, you can see an arrow. We'll click that, which will bring us back to the main screen. As you can see now, our attest to client shift is now in progress. Having clocked in at 1:55, we have rounded the time up to 2 p.m. and is now in orange. The future shift starting at 6:30 p.m. is still scheduled and in blue below it. If you ever need to get back to the main page or need to refresh the main page, in the very top left corner, you could see 3 horizontal white lines. You may click those. It will bring up the caregiver's name. It will say shifts, clients, open shifts with other options. By selecting shifts, you may refresh the page and bring back all information that you need to see for the day. If you need to go back and see previous shifts, you can use the calendar above. As you can see, it says January 2021, Sunday through Saturday is listed. Any days that you have worked will have a dot underneath the number. So in order to go back to January 7th, Thursday, we'll click on the 7th and it will show me that shift. Subsequently for the rest of the shifts through the week. If you pull down on the little teal rectangle, you can open up a calendar and go back to see any shifts worked in the previous year or any future shifts that you have scheduled. By selecting again today's date, it will bring us back to the main page with all our shifts for the day. That is how you clock in, and that is how you will start every shift. At the end of your shift, so for instance, our first shift today at 4:30 p.m., we would click back into the shift, At this point, we must complete our task for the day. Our first task, assisting with dressing. So, did you assist your client with dressing at some point during that shift? If you did, you will click yes. If you select assist with dressing and click outside the green box, put somewhere else, it will bring up that shift individually where you may select yes or no. In this case, we said we did, and we'll select yes, and then click on the top left corner once we're done in the X to bring us back to the next task. Our next task was assist with toileting. So in this example, we say we did do that. We will click yes and make sure the box gets highlighted dark green. The next task for the day is perform essential housekeeping. We'll say we did that. And the last task, prepare meals and assist with feeding. If we were to try to clock out at this point, at the bottom of the screen, it says mark task to continue. All tasks for the shift must be completed before allowing for clock outs. So we have one task yet to be completed, prepare meals and assist with feeding. So we must mark yes or no. If you mark no for a task, you must leave a required explanation as to why. This can simply be non-applicable, not needed for the day. For instance, if the client had already fed themselves before you arrived, you may put that reason or explanation in the notes. Not needed, and you may put client already ate or N/A for non-applicable. Once you've left your reason, you must click submit, and you must see the little talk bubble stating that it was actually submitted. At this point, you can go in the top left, click the X, which will bring you back to the main screen. And now, as you can see, all of our tasks have been completed, and we have a new button at the bottom saying clock out. Above clock out are two options, add mileage, add comment. You will not need to use the add comment function at any point during time. Please do not leave comments as they must be removed, and you can leave all comments or general notes inside their care book at the location of the home of the client. If you have any questions or concerns at the end of a shift, please notify a care manager by calling the office instead of leaving a comment on the app. If you take your clients anywhere and they are approved for mileage, you may click add mileage, and you may put the number of miles that you've traveled during your shift using your own personal vehicle. If you take the client's car, you may not use mileage in the app to be reimbursed. For instance, if you took your client to, say, the pharmacy or a grocery store, which was 2.5 miles away, it would be a 5-mile round trip. So we could put 5.0 miles, rounding to the nearest 10th decimal place, and we could put round trip to CVS Pharmacy for an example. In order to calculate the number of miles, please use Google Maps on your map function on your phone and type in the destination and the start destination to give you the round trip on mileage. If you go to multiple locations, you can add those mileages. So say we also went to Walmart after CVS Pharmacy, which was another 2 miles away, we could simply add that into our total and put comma trip to Walmart for groceries. Once done, you can click submit and the mileage will be recorded. Once that is completed, we can begin our clock out process. In the very bottom, as you said, it says clock out. You also must clock out at the location of the client's home or apartment. If you are off location, it will not allow you to clock out. By clicking clock out, it'll bring us to a screen to check to make sure we're comfortable with all of our tasks. If we are okay with them, we can click next in the bottom right corner. It will bring another screen up saying how many miles did you drive today optional. This is a redundant screen. You do not need to fill this in. If you put miles in on the first screen, they've already been recorded. Please do not put anything on this screen. Leave it blank and click next in the bottom right. It will also, next screen, say leave a comment. As stated earlier, please do not leave comments on the application, but leave them directly into the notebook Or if you have any present concerns, call the care manager at the office. Leave this blank and then click Next in the bottom right. Did you have a safe shift today? At the end of every shift, you're required to say if you had a safe shift or not. Most times you'll click yes and you did have a safe shift. In the event where your client has some sort of difficulty, such as a fall, has to go to the hospital, is having issues with health or safety, or there is some kind of concern with the caregiver, say you hurt yourself or injured yourself, or say there was an event where, say, police needed to be called, or you felt unsafe, you would click no. You would then need to lead a reason as to why you had an unsafe shift, and you must answer, were you injured during this shift? If at any point you have an unsafe shift, please then notify the care manager at an office right away to let them know, and they may also have you fill out an incident report. For today, we'll say we did have a safe shift. We will click yes, and in the bottom right, click next again. At the end of your shift, you're going to be required to get a signature from your client sometimes. By doing this, you may give them the phone and they can write in their names. So say their name is John Smith. They would sign their signature, and in the bottom right, they can click next once their signature has been documented. At the end of that, it's going to give you one more review screen saying you've completed 3 tasks, your mileage, the comments, and did you have a safe shift and signature. If all that is correct, you can click next one more time in the bottom right, and it will say confirm, which you'll then click in the orange in the bottom. Great job, Brian. You cared for just a client for 10 minutes. That means it worked, and it's going to bring us back to the main screen. As you can see now, where the shift before was orange, it is now green is complete. Because we'd worked for such a short time, it rounded our time and said we've worked from 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. Most of our shifts are rounded to 15 minutes, so it will take your time to the nearest quarter of an hour. That shift is now complete. We can click into it and see what we've done. It'll give us a brief outline, and then by going back in the top left corner, it'll take us to our main screen. As you can see, the next shift for the day is at 6:30 p.m., so we'd want to be arriving at that shift shortly before 6:30 to be able to clock in on location. If we click on that shift, it will open it for us, and notice how it says too early to clock in. It will only allow you to clock in 5 minutes before the scheduled shift time. So if you try to clock in prior to 6:25, it will not give you access to that shift. Please work within your scheduled shifts, and if you have to work outside of them, contact administrator at the office to seek approval first. That is how you utilize the functions to clock in and clock out. If you have any questions on this, please reach out to us at the office and we can answer your questions. If at any point your clock in doesn't work or you're having phone issues, please call the office right away so we can correct it and make sure you're properly clocked in and clocked out. Thank you for your time.